Chazak Baruch, good morning, Botai. Now that we're in Chodesh Elul, trying to be Choser B'Tshuva for our plethora of avonot, by far, one of the hardest avonot to be Choser B'Tshuva for is speaking Lashon Hara. There's no question. Hagaon Chafetz Chaim writes in the Sefer Chafetz Chaim on the halachot of Lashon Hara and Chilut, he says, interesting, that in order to be Choser B'Tshuva for Lashon Hara, la'alacha, just like any other mitzvot, she'ben adam l'chavero, interpersonal mitzvot, you have to go over to the party, and you have to tell him, I spoke Lashon Hara about you, and not only spoke Lashon Hara, you have to tell him what you said. Because otherwise, how can he give you mechila? How's he supposed to give you mechila if he doesn't know what you said? Maybe if you knew what you said about him, then he wouldn't be mochel otcha. So therefore, you have to go and tell him. And that's why it says the Chafetz Chaim, it's so difficult to be choser b'tshuva. First of all, it's super uncomfortable to go over to a person and say, I spoke about you and this is what I said. That's number one. And number two, if a person's constantly speaking Lashon Hara about many people, then you don't even know, you forget about who you spoke about, and then it's kemat impossible to be choser b'tshuva. That's the shita of Hagaon Chafetz Chaim. Famously, Hagaon Rabbi Yisrael Salanter disagrees with the Chafetz Chaim. And he says, obviously there's no question that if the person knows you spoke Lashon Hara, you have to go over and ask for mechila. It's not a question. But what happens if you spoke Lashon Hara about a person and he has no clue? He has no idea that you spoke about him. Now, he says it depends. It's not, you don't have an open ticket now to go and not ask for mechila. Depends on the person. If the person, let's say it's a close friend, an acquaintance, family member, and they'll hear you out and they still might give you mechila, Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says you still have to go. Question becomes, let's say somebody random or somebody that you're not on such good terms with, and he doesn't know you spoke Lashon Hara about him, and now you're going to go over to the guy, notify him that you spoke Lashon Hara, say what you said about him. The guy's going to flip out of his kelim, he's going to get very angry, and you're going to completely rock the boat. Says Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, the point of asking mechila is lashkin shalom b'Yisrael, to bring about shalom and ahava in Am Yisrael, and not the opposite. So over here, where it would be counterproductive for you to open this can of worms, so to speak, la'alacha, says Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, in this situation, it's enough to go over to the person and ask him for a general mechila without getting into detail and say, I may have done, or I spoke, without saying I spoke Lashon Hara, but I have to ask mechila for something, please be mochel me. Just in a general way, and that's enough. According to Chafetz Chaim, it's not enough. A person has to go ahead and open that can of worms in order to achieve the mechila. La'alacha, in Shalmei Moed, Hagon v'Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, in addition to Maran Zechron V'Bracha, in Chazon Ovadia Yemim Noraim, they're machriya kedat Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. And they say la'alacha, that in order to be mashkin shalom, even la'alacha, if you know that's the kind of person that it is, then you shouldn't rock the boat, ask for a general mechila. But if that's not the kind of person that it is, and you think that you might have a shot, even if you explain to him what went on, that he'll give you mechila and he'll hear you out, then be'emet, you have a chovah, kedat Hagaon Chafetz Chaim. Have a wonderful day.